All right, we are back with the brand new video, guys. What's up? It's been a while since the draft. Free agency has gone on for a couple days now, and I finally decided to give my thoughts on a lot of situations, man. You know, a lot of signings here and there. The Jalen Brunson situation, Kevin Durant, Rudy Gobert getting traded. So many stuff to just talk about. Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe, comment down below. Give me your thoughts about the Kevin Durant situation, the Rudy Gobert trade. That's going to be what we're talking about mainly. The Brunson signing, it was expected, man. I'm not really going to touch on that too much because I think a lot of people expected Brunson to go to the Knicks, and he did. The smoke screens about him taking a meeting with the Heat and all that, I think that was just, like I said, smoke screens. It was trying to avoid tampering and stuff, which is fair play to Brunson, fair play to the Knicks, but he was always going to be a Knick. I mean, we all knew that. But yeah, we're going to be mainly touching on Kevin Durant and Rudy Gobert. Obviously, KD requested a trade a couple days ago, and yeah, man, it kind of sent the NBA into shock because a lot of teams, they had plans of doing this and that in free agency. No one really expected KD to just outright request a trade like that. There hadn't been any rumors. No one expected it. Everyone thought the net situation had died down as soon as Kyrie opted into his player option. Now KD is going to get traded sometime soon, maybe. Kyrie Irving apparently is as good as gone. Rudy Gobert got traded yesterday. We got to talk about that as well. A lot of stuff to uncover, but starting off with the Kevin Durant situation, he requested a trade out of the blue, and he put two teams on his priority list as the Phoenix Suns and the Miami Heat. Now, those two teams were at the top of his list, but if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, man, I don't have to honor any of those requests because you haven't really done anything for our franchise for me to send you to a team that you want to go to. You didn't win us a championship. You didn't even get us to the conference finals. You've only won one playoff series with our team. So why should I honor your request in sending you to the Heat or the Suns? As a Heat fan, I would love KD, but if I'm the Nets, you don't have to send him to the Heat. So yeah, I mean that's first and foremost. You can send him to whatever team you want to. And you should take your time on this as well because you do not want to rush into, trading a top 5, maybe a top 3 player, maybe even the best player in the world, according to some people, for a bag of chips or something like that. That's not even like a good enough return for a guy like that. We'll get to what Rudy Gobert yielded back in his trade, but when you look at that trade, you got to really think differently about what Kevin Durant will command. But yeah, about this whole situation, man, there's a lot of teams that could put out some good offers for KD. Apparently the Toronto Raptors have been lurking, according to Woj. They have a lot of assets that they can trade, namely Scottie Barnes. Now, a lot of Raptors fans would not want to give up Scottie Barnes because he just won the Rookie of the Year. But I genuinely don't see any way that Brooklyn accepts a trade from Toronto if it does not include Scottie Barnes. I know they have some other valuable pieces like OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, but Fred and Pascal are a little bit, older. They don't really, aid to like a full rebuild because they're already kind of like 27, 28, 29-ish. OG Anunoby is good, and I think he's going to be a really good player, but I just don't see that superstar potential that you're getting with Scottie Barnes. So if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you got to go ask for Scottie. I don't know if the Raptors will give it to you, but you got to at least try. You know what I'm saying? Now, any trade will obviously will have to give, yield the right amount of picks as well, because you're going to have to get some picks back and some draft capital. And that probably would, don't be surprised if Oklahoma City is included in a 3-team trade or 4-team trade for Kevin Durant somehow with any team, because they're one of the few teams that can modify pick protections because they have so many. You know what I'm saying? So like if you need a 3rd or 4th team to throw in some picks or something like that, Oklahoma City Thunder could be a possible team. Not saying that they're going to be a team to get KD, but they could just be a team in the trade to, modify pick protections or throw in picks here and there and get more picks back or something like that. Don't be surprised if that happens. I would say I think it's going to be a while before KD gets traded, and there is also a possibility that he does not get traded at all. Because when you're talking about the Rudy Gobert trade, which is what I'm going to get to right now, I mean, Rudy Gobert, the Rudy Gobert trade really messed up the trade market because he got traded for a lot, like 5 first-round picks, including Walker Kessler, Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverley, and Jared Vanderbilt. I think that was, and Leandro Bolmaro. That was the trade for Rudy Gobert. Now imagine how many picks you'll need to trade for Kevin Durant. I think the Jazz pulled off a great haul in trading for Rudy Gobert, by the way. I think that was a great trade for them. The Timberwolves, I mean, we'll see how it works with him and Cat. I'm not really a fan of that front court. I just don't like, obviously the spacing is there with Cat, but I just don't like defensively. Rudy's really good defensively, obviously. Cat, I just don't know how he's going to guard some of the fours in this league. You put him against a Jason Tatum, he's getting cooked. So, I mean, like, I really don't know how that's going to work defensively for them. I'm a huge fan of the Jazz's trade, though. I really like the Jazz's return for Rudy Gobert. A lot of people thought they should have kept him because he would have stayed there long term, but like, you got to go into a rebuild. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Donovan Mitchell now. Apparently, they want to keep him, but there also has been pushback to that idea from the Jazz front office, according to one of the Jazz reporters that I saw on Twitter. And there's also a possibility that Donovan Mitchell just flat out requests a trade and says, I want out. Then you could have a team like the Heat or the Knicks, someone like that who's been rumored to get a Donovan Mitchell, try and pursue a guy like that. So, really, I think everything is going to be on pause. Even the Kyrie situation, according to Dave McMenamin, who is a Lakers reporter, or I think he works for Clutch Sports or something. The whole Kyrie situation is going to be on the back burner until KD gets traded. And if it's not going to happen, then we're gonna have to wait a long time for some of this stuff to happen, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens, man. Like for the KD thing, like I really think the Brooklyn Nets should just take their time. They don't have to accept anything that's that's not equal value. Just don't take a player just for the sake of it. I love Tyler Hero as a Heat fan, but we do not have the package for KD. Like we cannot get KD on the squad. Like I'm kind of not really giving up on it, but like it's not really crossing my mind anymore. Like if we get KD, then we kind of fleece them, because there's no way we can get KD without giving up Bam. And apparently there's some rule preventing Bam to get traded to the Nets unless they trade Ben Simmons back to us, which why would they give KD and Ben Simmons to the Heat? So unless it's like a 3-team deal, I just don't see the Heat pulling off a trade for KD. The Suns, I mean, the Nets are not really interested in Ayton from everything that I've seen. They want Booker. Unfortunately, Booker just got paid a supermax extension. He'll probably stay around in Phoenix for quite a while now. So I think you could kind of scratch off both those teams. Philly has a package on the table of Maxey, Harris, and Thibault, and some picks. I don't know if that's going to cut it either. As good as Maxey is he really like a potential top 10 guy, superstar, MVP candidate? No. I think he's going to be a really good player. I just don't think he's going to be as like a superstar. He's going to be an all-star for sure. I just don't know if he's going to be a superstar. But when you look at guys like a Scotty Barnes and Evan Mobley, like people like that, Cade Cunningham's, like these guys are going to be superstars in the league. Even if you wanted to get like a Zion Williamson, obviously you can't right now because they just extended him, but even like a Brandon Ingram, I think he'll be a superstar. There's still guys out there that you can try to go and get if you want to trade KD, but you don't have anything to lose if you just wait and just wait around. You don't have to force anything. You have the leverage. His preferred destinations don't mean anything to you, so just take your time. That's the only thing I would tell Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Nets, if I could right now. Just take your time and don't rush anything, because you really don't have anything to lose if you wait longer, because you want to get the best return possible for Kevin Durant, because this is like, I haven't really seen a star of this magnitude request a trade like that in a long time. So I mean, we'll see what happens with that. Kyrie situation, apparently he wants to go to the Lakers. I think that's been well documented. I just don't see how the Nets will accept the Lakers package. I mean, they might have to at the end of the day, because Kyrie just wants to get out of there. But I think that, like I said, like someone said, I think Dave McMenamin said this, I think the Kyrie situation might be just put on the back burner until KD is gone. The Donovan Mitchell situation, it's really, I think, in the hands of the player. Like if he wants out of Utah, and if he makes it clear, even if he doesn't publicly demand it, if he just like goes up to them privately and says, I want out, and says, you know what, Utah, like I love you, like I love the organization, I love the city, but it looks like you're going in a different direction from what I want to go to as a player. So I think it's best for me if I find it, if you guys can help me find a different situation for myself. And I just want to win the championships, and it looks like you guys are trying to go into a retooling phase where I just don't know how high the ceiling of this team is. So he might just go up and do that. If he does that, then there's a high chance that he's going to get traded, because no matter if Utah wants to keep him or not, if the player wants out, like, you rarely can you just keep the guy around. I think it's really in the hands of the player. You know, if he wants out, I think they'll, you know, find a great trade for him, and figure it all out. But that's really what's been going on, man. Some more signings out there. I mean, the whole Miles Bridges situation is very saddening and disgusting. You know, what happened with him. Well, not what happened with him, what he did. And, you know, deservedly so that the Hornets are pulling their qualifying offer, because, you know, what he did was absolutely disgusting, and there's no excuse for that. So hopefully the situation you know, eases with, you know, his partner, and hopefully she's, you know, doing okay. But yeah, that's wild. That's out of pocket, and you know, there's really no place for that. But he was like one of the top free agents, and it's sad to see, because he was going to get a bag and he kind of just fumbled it. You know what I'm saying? Brunson has made the most money so far out of any free agent. 4-year, 110 million from the Knicks is a lot of money for a guy like that. It's going to be an investment, but I still think he's a very good, talented player. And if the Knicks think he's their guy, you know, then maybe they can figure a way out to feature him and try to make him an all-star. You know what I'm saying? Some other guys that are still free agents, DeAndre Ayton, that whole situation is up in the air. They have not really found a partner for him. I would watch the Pacers, because they just freed up a max spot that they can just throw at DeAndre Ayton. If he wants to go to the Pacers, I'm pretty sure they can just sign him outright, because they traded Malcolm Brogdon. They're looking to trade Miles Turner. I would watch Indiana for a team for DeAndre Ayton destination. I would really watch Indiana, because Indiana has all the cap space in the world to just throw him a max contract. And the Suns, even if he's restricted, the Suns shouldn't want to bring back a guy who doesn't want to be there anyway. So, you know, if Ayton, you know, if Ayton accepts the Indiana offer, I think he'll be a Pacer, because I think Indiana is going to offer him a max, because I think that's why they're clearing up all that money, not just to rebuild, because I think Ayton would fit their timeline, but also to, you know, to free up a lot of money. So yeah, I would watch Indiana for Ayton. You know, we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, apart from that, the free agency class is pretty dry. You know, most of the buzz is coming from like guys potentially getting traded, and I'm very excited to see what's going to go on. So stay tuned, man. I will be updating you guys as much as I can. I'll see y'all later as always.